the Awanti, Vatsa, Kosala and Magadha. Now, if you see the location of this Mahajanapadas, it are majorly situated at the river plains. Like for example, this Awanti, okay, is situated above the Narmada and below the mythical Saraswati river. Okay, now this Magadha is situated on the banks of Ganga, Vatsa, Kosala, the same regions. However, Kosala was much more in the Himalayan region, the colder region. Okay, but the Vatsa and Magadha is at the plain region. Geographically, it is at a plain region. Secondly, it has a good source of water, fresh water, or the perennial water source. Okay, so here you will find that the agriculture which was developed during this period in this region was running in surplus. Okay, now when agriculture is running in the surplus, it's very but obvious that you would be able to generate more revenue income for the state. This is the first reason. If we calculate the second reason, I have told you that at the end of the later Vedic period, we were having the usage of the iron tools. Okay, now this was the second phase of urbanization. I would say this was the second phase of urbanization. Now, how is that second phase? Now, you will say, ma'am, in Vedic period, though we didn't had any urbanization. In later Vedic period, there was an emergence of the smaller villages, or the villages started to be turning into the towns and the cities. Then how it can be the second urbanization in the history? Now, if you go again back to the Chalcolithic period when we were studying about Indus Valley civilization, you would be very friendly with the syllabus that yes, this was a second urbanization. But friends, please mind it here that the second urbanization was dependent upon the iron tools and the first urbanization was dependent upon the copper tools. Okay, so here this makes the big difference. Now, if you see the today's news or the news in the recent week, okay, now this is the month of like October, November 2025. Now, the copper is again getting its prominence back. Okay, so can we have next urbanization similar to the IVC? This is also a great question mark. If you Google it, regarding the prominence of the copper in the Western country, okay, the prominence of the copper metal is getting higher, okay, and in fact it is being predicted that it would be getting in the near future, it would be getting the prominence like as similar to as gold, not as high as gold, but similar to the gold, near about to the gold. So yes, we are waiting for these answers, but let's first study the history. Okay, so here it was the second urbanization when we'll see that the four states are the most powerful states or say kingdoms during the 16 Mahajanapadas. Now see the Awanti. Awanti is above the Vindhyan range, and below the Vindhyan range we'll find only one among the 16 Mahajanapadas, that is Asmaka. Okay. So this Asmaka was a very, small state, not necessary. It was in competition with all these four states, but these four states stood as the stronger states among the 16 Mahajanapadas. And in the upcoming future, we'll see that only Magadha will rise into the most strongest state of 16 Mahajanapadas. Now, what might be the reason? The very basic reason which the history tells you, or which the most strongest reason which history tells you is the geography. Now, why geography? Because just now you have seen the location of Magadha Empire. Now, if you have sketch of your map, okay, This is somewhat eastern part. Okay. Now your Magad is located over here, right? And if you will see, it is at the confluence of the Ganga river first, and secondly with some other local rivers. So it is at a confluence of two rivers. Secondly, you will see that it is in the plain area. Okay, it is in the plain area. Okay, now if you compare this Magad location with the Kosala, okay, which was at the Himalayan state, okay, so the Kosala is not having that plain region. And if you see, many of the intellectuals, or especially in the international relations, you would see the country which has good geopolitical condition is said to be going to develop in the near future at the faster pace. Okay, if any particular country has a good geopolitical condition, is said to have a good progress or a faster progress in upcoming future. So here, please note here, if this is the principle or the theory behind the development, okay, now compare the same theory of development with the Magad state. Now talking geographically, it is plain area. So agriculture, for the agriculture flourishment or the region expansion, it's quite favorable condition. Secondly, it is situated at the confluence of the river. So the availability of the fresh water for the agriculture purpose is abundant. Okay, so the first reason is the geography. Now, talking about the second reason is the polity. Now, why, ma'am? Why polity is the second reason? Because if you see, now this is today's India's map. Okay, but if you compare it with the previous Indian subcontinent, okay, now this is a continuous land of present day Pakistan, Balochistan and the Afghanistan, right? So here you will see that in the last session we have seen that the Persian and the Greeks invaded India from this side, that is from the northwestern side. Okay, now here the Persian invaded right from here. Okay, and they were somewhere stuck due to the Jhelum river. Okay, due to the Jhelum river. And as they were stuck due to the Jhelum river, you will find that they never came up till this plain or up till the Magad region. That is why politically it was much more secure place. Okay, if we see the Greeks, the same thing. The Greeks would be also thinking that this is the end of the world or the end of the eastern world. And that is why they also somewhere stopped here, and majorly they didn't came up till the Magad region. And that is why we'll see that the Magad was much secure than any other Mahajanapada. Okay, so this is the next, that is the political reason. Okay, so here the first political reason is its stability. And the second political reason is stronger rulers. Now, if you see the kings who ruled over this Magad region, okay, the kings who ruled over this Magad region,